served in many companies such as KPMG, Select City Work Group as a CS and legal officer in the last 11 years in New Delhi, including many listed companies. In 2019, he has started his own company in Imphal, Manipur in the name Vision Consultant Private Limited, formerly known as Kanglei AD Corporate Solution Private Limited, and is serving as a director in the company which provides services related with corporate laws, income tax, register of companies, related service, trademark, copyright, etc. So now we have with us Mr. Aditya Diwedi, CS. He will be delivering on the topic company formation and other legal compliance. I hope all the delegates will utilize the time which Mr. Trivedi will be with us. I welcome you, sir, and have your own time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I introduce my colleague also. He is Amarjit Pauna, and he is also a company secretary. He is from Manipur. So we'll have a kind of an interaction session because at present I have been approached in a very short time, so I don't have any particular presentation for you, but we'll have a good interaction session and we'll try to solve all your queries regarding these kind of stringent compliance procedure regarding the formation of company and other legal formality. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me, and if you are comfortable in Manipuri language, then we have our company secretary, and you can also guide you in Manipuri. Okay? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are you tired?
No, we are still fresh.
Still fresh? Oh, that's
You can
great.
check it.
So I hope you are having a good time in this particular training program and you are learning a lot. And we'll go to this kind of startup. You have been taught regarding the startup, and you must have heard also regarding the startup, that how to start a new venture or maybe new idea into this startup program. I'll give you just a brief history regarding this startup. In the year 2016, Government of India introduced these programs, startup programs, for new budding ventures, new budding youngsters who have a great idea to solve all these problems related with the society, or maybe any new idea which can be formed and helpful in the kind of development, or maybe a kind of a new business which can create a lot of employment and which can as well as solve the problems related with the development, or maybe related with the society. So government introduced this program in 2016, and they have started having an enrollment regarding the ideas program, first in the central state, then they have deployed into the state government also. So state government also have these kind of programs related with the startups. You must have heard this word startup. I have my startup. People used to tell everywhere that I have some startup. Now what is startup? Means kuch start kiya, means to start something new. New means new business. Now to start the business, to think what to do to start the business. Where to start? You know your idea. Suppose example, this paper cup. You want to manufacture this paper cup. You have your idea. yes, I can manufacture this paper cup and I can sell it. I have a new product related with this paper cup and which will be very resourceful and which will be less harmful to the kind of environment. Now you have started this idea and you started manufacturing. But the other part is the formalities, how you will get the recognition to start this and how you can get the fund to start this or to expand or to grow it. The other part comes, the main thing is to the registration. Now in this registration to start, I don't have any board also, otherwise I would have explained in the board. But the main thing is registration. Commonly as a layman language or maybe as a prima facie, you can think what we need to do the registration. To register a company, where to approach to register a company. To professional, maybe chartered accountant, maybe company secretary. Now there are various type of companies which will be helpful for you. You will think, you will take a professional guidance. Second is the income tax. People think, oh, I have started a business. Maybe I have to enroll for income tax. Yes, income tax. Then what are the other kind of government formality, government compliances? The GST. Whether my product will be applicable on GST or not. So these questions will come and you may approach to the professionals. But nowadays these programs are being held and people are also very smart, and now we have so much information in Google also where you can get many kind of these information in a very summarized way. So once you have kind of new idea, new startup thinking, business idea, or manufacturing things or anything which you want to start, so you have to first register a company or maybe LLP or maybe a partnership firm, whichever what you want to start. Then what will be benefit for you? You may take the professional guidance which will be benefit to you, whether it is a private company or maybe a LLP. There are very different type of companies. Like in Manipur, I have seen last 3-4 years there were very microfinance companies also. So like there are microfinance companies, Nidhi companies. So there are different companies. If you will go into the kind of a Ministry of Corporate Affairs website, you can find out. These are the different. But what will be the benefit for you to start any manufacturing business or particular enterprises? Private limited company is the option for you. Now how to register a private limited company? You will approach the professional for registration, but there are basic requirements which you should also know. To register a private limited company, there should be minimum 2 directors required. 2 shareholders are required. Okay? And there is no minimum capital requirement for registration of a private company. This is the minimum requirement. Minimum 2 directors. If you, in particular, a co-founder or maybe you are alone there with your own idea, you can have, or maybe one family member, you can become a director and as well as a shareholder. Shareholder means equity holder. Equity holder means you will get a equity against the capital which you are contributing to the company to start it. There should be a capital to start a company. Earlier it used to be a minimum capital requirement of 1 lakh, but now government have removed particular that eligibility also. If suppose if you have a 50,000 rupees, still you can contribute that 50,000 to your company, and against that particular 50,000 you will get your 100% equity. Minimum 2 shareholder. Whatever the ratio you want to, it is a private limited company means it is your home company. There is a 2 type of company, private limited and public limited. Public is to deal with the public, where the trading is being done in stock exchange. You can buy Reliance shareholder. So if you are buying a Reliance share, means you have become the shareholder of Reliance. So it is a public trading platform. That is called the public company. Private limited is related with you own your home company. You are only involved, or maybe your family is involved. So mostly people in startup, 99% goes into private limited. Yeah, it will be very good if you can. So mostly in startup, people start with a private limited company. Are you comfortable? You can understand English or what I'm
Yes, sir,
able to
sure,
make you
sure.
understand.
Explain me, Dasta. Explain. Just tell me. No. Dari yang masalah itu betul. Kita jangan lupa.
Give you first the overview, then we'll have an interaction. Whatever the doubt you must be having, we can sort it out. Okay. So first, I was telling you. Suppose example, you have particular idea of startup related with your bioresources, which the theme is. Then the type of companies you need to start with. Now, what are the types of company? LLP, private limited, maybe public limited, maybe financial companies. Financial companies means maybe Nidhi company or microfinance. Then there is LLP. LLP means limited liability partnership. In private limited company, there will be different type of company, maybe small companies. There are categories. So there is different categories in small. If your capital is, sorry?
We can't see properly.
Please,
Bigger.
the size font bigger.
Oh, okay.
Mama yang hanya ko, na yung nungai juga. Kita siya mga, siguro nungai ni. Please come forward.
Yeah, maybe from that side, if these chairs are empty, if you can come nearby.
Limited.
Road is limited, so I need to write. They can just please come up here. Can you see it now? That side.
Yan yang amat. Lama.
Partnership.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You can see.
Yes. That's
देखिए
right.
पिछाड़ को लोग तो ही नहीं को
So mostly these types are basic companies. In this, there are different categories. So in startup, if you will start with this private limited company, then there are minimum requirement. What are the minimum requirement? 2 directors. This is minimum requirement, okay? Maximum you can have up to 15 directors in the company. Second is 2 shareholders. The same 2 director can become a 2 shareholder also. Clear? Capital at least minimum 1 rupees. Earlier it was minimum 1 lakh capital was required, but now in private limited company, no minimum capital clause is there, so you can have according to you. Suppose example 50,000 rupees. This is the capital to start a company. And then these 2 directors will have their own DSC. DSC means digital signature certificate. So they will be, because the application when we will file to the register, and where these application will be filed to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, in which the department is there, Registrar of Companies, ROC. Registrar of Companies, like in university you have registrar. Same with the ministry, they have registrar related with the companies. So company registration will be under Registrar of Companies, where the application will be filed for registration. These are the requirements. Then your application will be filed with the government. Then there should be first name of the company, which will end with the private limited. Suppose example XYZ private limited. Maybe like you have your own company here, Kanglai AD private limited. My own company is Vision Consultants private limited. So you can have the initial name related with your business, and then it will be ending with the private limited. Okay, which will define the company status, whether the company is private limited or public limited. Then there will be MOA and AOA. These are Memorandum of Association and Article of Association, where the rules of the company will be defined. Memorandum of Association, where the object of the company may be defined. For what purpose you have started the company, which business you will start, in which field you will go, will be defined in the Memorandum of Association. Suppose I have started this paper cup business, so it will be mentioned in memorandum that I am dealing in these kind of products related with the paper products, paper cup, paper plate, etc., etc. And maybe in near future which field I may proceed into, which business, which venture I may proceed. So it all will be defined in the memorandum. Article will be defined the rules and regulation of the company, who will sign which document, whether both director will be signing any document, particular any resolution or anything. Once the name is approved, these application will be filed with these minimum requirement for private limited company registration.
Sir, please can you tell us the document required for this DSC?
Yes. In DSC, your document will be required PAN, Aadhaar, then after Aadhaar mobile number, email ID. After these documents, it will be processed for digital signature, then there will be a verification. There will be a video verification and mobile email verification that the person is same who is getting their own DSC or not. Suppose I am giving particular document of Mr. Amarji, and in video verification, I am doing verification as Amarji, then and particular photograph also. So my document is of Amarjit and I am doing the verification, then it will be rejected. Same person should have said, because it is a digital signature. Like in bank, we sign physically. That is our signature, unique signature. Same goes with the digital signature also. It is a unique signature of particular director. Okay? And this digital signature will be useful for lifetime. It will be renewed for processing the application online related with the ministries. Clear?
So where to apply this?
Digital signature professional, suppose you are approaching me as a professional, maybe a chartered accountant. We provide this kind of facility to provide the digital signature.
How long it takes to be approved?
It may take hardly 1 hour also, 1 hour, half an hour, maybe 15 minutes also it can be approved. So you can get easily. And there will be particular token type of, like in pen drive type of, you will get your digital signature. Then only these applications will be proceeded for registration.
How much that cost?
It costs usually maybe around 2,000, 2,500, depends. And particular professional fees will be added by the professionals. Also, maybe minimum 2,000. Some may provide in Delhi, will be more cheaper. So depend on the places also.
So regarding the shareholder,
Yeah.
what documents are required?
Yeah, I'll just give the overview, then we'll have a QA session. Okay?
That would be better.
Yeah. Otherwise, there will be more questions. So after these processing, digital signature will be made, and when we will file this application, all director KYC will be attached in this application. Now in this KYC, what will be the additional document here? Your bank statement, latest 2 months, maybe voter ID, or if you have driving license. Now earlier, what it used to be when we apply for registration, once the registration comes, then we have to open the bank account. Now, since the last 1.5 years, in this registration, we can open the bank account of the company also. So here we will proceed. There will be list of banks. Then you have to, what bank you want to proceed with, where you want to open your company's bank account. We can proceed in this application. Same goes with the GST registration. So at starting, if you want GST registration in this application, you can get the GST registration also. But mostly people does not take GST registration at starting because there is a voluntary limit. Mandatory limit is more, if your turnover is more than 10 lakh, then you may have to take the GST. But here the company is starting, there is no turnover. So there is no requirement of additional compliances. But they have the option to get a one-time registration under one application only. Clear? These are the
But sir, if you have X amount of earnings, then there must be a requirement of having your GST registration done.
Yeah, but that will be
Even
afterwards.
if it is
only.
below 10 lakhs.
Before registration, how can you earn in the name of the company?
Now, after you start earning.
Yes, we'll go through it. We will file this application with the government. Once the government approves this application, you will get a certificate of incorporation. In this certificate of incorporation, you will get your PAN number also. Means company's PAN, certificate of incorporation COI, where all the details will be mentioned, even the PAN number, TAN number. You will get the TAN number also separately, and it will be mentioned in certificate of incorporation also. certificate of incorporation information will be mentioned regarding the incorporation date, SIN number. SIN number means like you have your individual have their own date of birth, company have their SIN number, certificate of incorporation number, and the date of incorporation is mentioned. Registration number is there, like you have your PAN number, date of birth, individual, same goes with the company have SIN number. Company is born on that date. It is a separate legal entity. So these documents you will get. Now your bank account is also open. Bank will approach you. They will call you, or maybe you, if they are not approaching you, you may approach to the particular bank where you have mentioned. Suppose SBI you have mentioned, so you can approach to the head branch of particular city that these are my documents and please give us our account number. So you can proceed with the deposit of capital. So once your bank account is open, these documents, on the basis of these documents, and maybe bank may separately ask for KYC documents also. Different bank for physical KYC signatures they will ask. Here the signature will be already attached, documents may be attached, but the bank have different criteria. They will ask for physical document also for their uploadation in their own system. So once your bank account is open, you will deposit your capital. Suppose 1 lakh capital, 50,000. In which ratio? Where it has been divided among the shareholders from their own account. Suppose these two directors are the shareholders also. ABC, particular person, and XYZ. These are the 2% director and shareholders same. They have 50% equity among each other. Means shareholding. So 1 lakh rupees they need to contribute, 50% means 50,000 at the rate of 10. If it is 1 lakh example. So this comes to 10,000 shares. 5,000 each shares, 50% equity divided. So they need to contribute 50,000 to this particular bank account, and that is the capital. That is the capital which is being contributed in this company. Now company can start a business. Apart from this, you need to mention your company's registered office also. Registered office of the company, where the company's office will be situated. Suppose example, Manipur University particular block you have opened, you need to attach the proof of that particular registered office. Proof, electricity bill or maybe any utility bill you can attach. And after registration, you need to fix the board of your company and where SIN number need to be mentioned of the company. So that is the registered office. Clear? In this particular application only, and the registered office will be mentioned in your certificate of incorporation. Suppose in near future you want to change your registered office, it can be changed by the different event-based compliances. So this is the mandatory compliances for opening. Once this is done, capital is being deposited, bank account is open, your company is registered. Clear? Now this is for every kind of, for every aspect, this is the normal routine for private limited company. Now there is a different category. You have particular startup ideas. Like in this session, we are having a startup idea maybe for bioresources, something which which is helpful for ecosystem or something. Particular different idea where you have approval of particular incubator or anyone. So now, once this registration is done, you have particular documents of your private limited company. Then you may proceed for the startup registration. Your company is there. Now, startup registration. We will proceed with this. In this, anyone having any doubt?
Excuse
Excuse me, sir. What about DIN?
Yes, good question. DIN is a director identification number.
Is it mandatory to renew every year or
No, I'll tell you that is the KYC part. Once you are registered as a director, you will get another thing is your DIN number. Like you have individual PAN number, it can't be changed, same as the DIN number. Whether you are director in one company or maybe another 2 company or 3 company, your DIN number will be same. It will be issued at one time only. Suppose right now I am not having any DIN number, I have incorporated, I have registered a company, I will get a DIN number. Now suppose example I am incorporating another company, then I don't need to approach for another DIN. With the same DIN number, I can start it. So it is kind of an individual identity, which is director identification number. So you will, in your own name, DIN number will be there. Clear? Now, compliance part is in your individual capacity, not in the company's capacity, your individual capacity, you need to every year do the KYC of your DIN number. So KYC registration will be every year. Suppose example, I have changed my address. I have shifted from Imphal to Delhi. I have my own document also. So in another KYC every year, I will update the same and I will, if I haven't changed, then I will, with the same document, I will do my KYC. Clear? This is the registration part, then we'll move to the startup part.
Sir, about the GST.
Yes.
Last year itself, I have registered my private limited company,
Okay.
and I have collected lots of suggestions from many experts.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from you also.
Yeah.
Regarding the GST, many of the experts mentioned that the GST is not required at this certain condition. If I am looking for a bigger project, if I require to show a bigger turnover, that time as per the requirement जितना मुझे चाहिए उस हिसाब से मैं पहला फाइलिंग कर सकता हूँ. तो till then अभी के लिए at present GST apply मत करो ऐसा suggestion है.
बिल्कुल.
तो what is the best
Correct.
suggestion?
See, there is a requirement of voluntary and mandatory. Voluntary requirement is that I am voluntarily taking the GST. It is not eligible. Eligibility criteria is different state. They have eligibility criteria of related with the turnover. Suppose in Manipur, if I have a turnover of more than 10 lakh, or maybe there is 20 lakh turnover, then it is mandatory to take me a GST. I have to take a GST. If my turnover crosses above certain limit, 10 lakh, then I have to take. That is mandatory requirement. And voluntary is, if suppose example I've started my new company, I have 1 lakh turnover, 2 lakh, still I am taking the GST. Why? Because if I am dealing with, I am purchasing something, some goods, and some goods required a GST registration. Suppose I have ordered particular goods from Delhi. Now from Delhi I have ordered for 5 lakh. Now the goods will be traveling from one state to another state. Then there will be GST requirement for the transportation purpose, where the goods is being delivered. So in that case, people used to take, if they are doing local business, outside particular material of goods are not required, then GST is, people don't take. But if they are into some kind of project where material or particular goods are required from one state to another, then GST requirements are there. Because when you will order something, they will create an invoice, tax invoice, in whose name they will create. Then GST number will be mentioned. Then they will generate for the transportation purpose, from which vehicle the goods is being moved, for particular whose person, from Delhi to Imphal it is moving. So that GST registration will be required for that particular purpose. So voluntary or mandatory, there is an eligibility. So if you don't want to take within 10 lakh, if your turnover is not more than 10 lakh, you don't take. But if you are, but why people take in voluntary purpose? Because they ordered some goods, that's why they take it. They want the tax invoices to maintain the expenditure and income of the company. They want to maintain the books of accounts. How much tax they have paid, how much goods they have ordered for that particular purpose. So if your particular consultant have told you that yes, it is not required, so people usually 90% people don't take registration at initial stage. After that only, once they start the business, then they understand, then they, according to the situation, they take the GST registration. Clear?
Sir, I have one more question.
Yeah.
So, suppose I have registration in some other state, and now I want to operate the business here in Manipur. Then is it mandatory to take another GST or what?
See, you can take the GST for different state, but in the same name also. Suppose example, I have my company XYZ Limited in Manipur.
We are talking
I have
about a private
registered-
limited. We are talking about private limited.
Yes, private limited. XYZ Private Limited. I have my own company in Manipur. I have GST registration of Manipur. Suppose example, I'm opening my new business, new branch, new venture in Assam. So I can take another GST number over there, or maybe with same GST number I can work over there, but there is a benefit of input tax credit, means whatever the tax amount you are paying, the benefit you will get or not, that is into kind of a detailed structure. Like example, you have GST of Manipur.
So Delhi versus Manipur.
Delhi, you can take Delhi. Your practical example you can take Delhi. You have registration of GST
In Delhi.
in Delhi. Now you are opening business in Imphal. Okay?
Yes.
This is the
Yeah,
scenario.
yes.
You have GST registration. Now, this is the manufacturing of goods or particular in service industry.
The service.
Service industry,
IT sector.
IT section. Now you have started giving services in Manipur. So now you have option to take in same name you can take a GST registration. In same name you will get. Your company is XYZ Private Limited. Okay? This is the name of your company. In same name you will get another GST registration in the state of Manipur.
Then what?
And then you can start your service. Now example, if you don't want to take registration in this, you have started services in Manipur. Now you will give the GST invoice. GST invoice to the person in, there are category IGST, CGST and SGST. This is, we are talking in detail because of the example, okay? I'll just rough it up, then we'll, because this is the invoice part we are talking. IGST is where the service is given from one state to another. I am sitting here, I am giving the services in Imphal. Then it is IGST. CGST means central GST and state GST. This is for the local tax, where the two part is being divided. One goes to state, one goes to central. Here it is directly go to state. For interstate. So now invoice will be from Delhi, and you are not having registration in Imphal. So you will raise the IGST invoice. This will be the only difference. Suppose if you are having your GST in Imphal in the same name where the company is operating from Delhi, and you have taken another registration, then your invoice will be CGST and SGST. Means you will be deducting the tax in CGST and SGST. Clear? If you haven't taken your GST,
But these two will be together reflected in the
tax invoice.
tax invoices as well as the yearly account statements and all
When
those.
you will get the tax
They will
invoice,
come
you
together in the
give
same
to
statements.
Yeah, you will give to the professional, and when they will be filing your GST return, then they will mention accordingly. And this will be after GST summary, then annual summary in annual books of accounts, it will be mentioned. How much tax is being deducted, how much IGST, CGST, SGST.
Is there any advantage or disadvantage?
Advantage, disadvantage will move when we'll go to the startup part. I'll give you the advantage of particular things. Okay, GST and all everything. First, we will discuss according to this private limited registration part. Are you okay with? You got the idea of registration.
Yes,
One question.
This, we'll move to GST again in detail.
Not about GST.
The private limited, everyone.
yes, yes. The minimum requirement is to have two directors,
Yes.
And when you have the article of association,
Yes.
you will be mentioning the roles of the directors
Yes.
clearly.
Yes.
So can a director be a silent director?
See,
Or do you have to have mandatorily that?
there are in director also
There
there
roles
are
be mentioned.
categories. Yeah.
Independent or dependent, I guess. He's asking
Yeah.
about
Okay. Yes, there are categories in director part. Different categories. When we will mention the director, there is one director, promoter. These are the subcategories. Okay. Then there are independent. There are executive director. There are non-executive director. These are the categories of the director. Now, two directors. Suppose if you want to withdraw, one of the director wants to withdraw a salary, then it will be in the category of executive and promoter. Both will be in category of promoter in private limited because they are starting the company. They are the promoter, but the subcategory may be executive and non-executive. If you are working full time, then executive. If you are not working full time, non-executive. Clear? So registration part, anyone having doubt? Private limited.
Sir, this Department of Industry and Commerce, they are also doing registration. They are issuing certificate of incorporation. So what is the difference between this issue by the?
They are not, they are giving their own registration part.
That is a state
They are
level.
not registering a company, they are just after registration, they are giving their own registration. Department registration, like GST with their own registration certificate. Once you will get the GST registration, you will get the registration of GST certificate. Same goes with the different departments.
So I can add up here. That is the state level registration. This is we are talking about the Indian level.
Yes, this is all over India.
Must be memorandum of
Certificate.
entrepreneurship.
Sorry?
It must be DIC's memorandum of entrepreneurship.
DIC, Department of Commerce. I didn't get it.
So that incorporation must be that memorandum of entrepreneurship.
No, that is actually he's talking about the trade license, which I will move in the startup part. I got your point, but wanted to.
So in Manipur, there is a two offices that issued a registration. One is in the Director of Commerce and Industry, and another is the DC office. There is an industrial branch in DC office. Both the
Yes,
registered, both issued the certificate, but that is the state level, very small level.
But that is not the registration of the company. You will need to provide your documents of your company to them, then they will get their own registration. If you will go directly to register there, your company, they won't register. They will ask you, give your registration document of company. Yeah.
Though
if
they-
there's proprietorship, people can also go and get their.
Yeah, in this department trade, so like license establishment, license of
So in that case, you don't need.
that is the local level, kind of state level, the person is saying correct. It is in the local level, whatever the registration requirements are there, you can take it, whether partnership firm or proprietor. That depend on the state level eligibility criteria.
So I guess we are.
This is the all over pan India registration under the registrar of company. Clear?
So, I just have one question.
Yeah.
We are talking about different types of categories of these directors. So, I guess you talk about promoter, independent director, executive director, and executive
Non-executive.
director.
Yeah.
So, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
This executive director can be part of the dependent director.
Yes. In another company?
No. What I'm telling is that.
If he will be independent, then how can be he executive? In same company?
No, I'm saying that I'm not talking about independent. I'm just talking about dependent and executive.
Okay.
So, are these two terms are synonymous for a company or what?
See, if the person is independent, then he is not executive.
No, I'm asking is dependent. I'm just talking about dependent director. One is dependent director, another one is independent.
Yes.
The dependent director who is taking care of day-to-day life affairs of the company.
And
then independent is obviously I'm just working
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a company. I can be one of the independent
Exactly.
directors in
Yes.
So what I'm asking here is that can this executive director be a part of dependent director, not independent?
Yes, obviously. If he is dependent, he is already an executive director. It depends on him whether he wants to withdraw a salary or not, or whether he wants to work full time with the company or not. Main category is executive and non-executive. Suppose example, you are in government job and you want to start your own venture simultaneously. In that you are withdrawing a salary from government. So you can't be in your own company executive director. Two places you can't withdraw it salary. From government also from. So you can start in your free time your own venture, but in that you will be a non-executive. Why? Because you are withdrawing salary from government. Clear? Yeah. So people may have idea while working under the government they can start their own venture.
Supporting that two directors, is it necessary to mention the type of the director or only the director is okay?
Yeah, when you will take the advice from the professional may ask you whether you will be working, you are working somewhere or not, whether you want to be involved full time or part time. He may ask, then he may select. When he will file the categories in the application, he will fill according to that category. Okay. Once your registration is done, if you have particular idea, you may get the startup registration also. If you don't have any startup, you have normal business. Normal business means the people normally use if you're a clothing business or electrical business. You don't need these kind of registration. But these registration for the funding purpose it help you. Startup registration is for the funding purpose, where investor or maybe government may fund you according to your ideas. Clear? So startup process, you will get the registration once these documents are available with you, certificate of incorporation, PAN, DN, every document related with the company is with you. You may register for startup if you have a particular idea stage or any different kind of a venture which will be helpful, which will be resourceful. So you can have, this is optional. Suppose I have started my clothing business, I am doing, bringing clothes from outside and selling them. And this is not startup, it's a normal business. I can start my company, I can register in GST if I want to, and I can start my business. Startup is for the purpose of innovative idea, and for the particular innovative idea you need a growth and you need a fund. How you will grow this innovative idea, and how for that particular purpose how you can get a fund from investor or maybe from government. So you will process for this startup registration on the basis of documents. In startup registration they will ask for these basic documents of your company information. Then they will ask for your innovative idea. What idea? And after submitting these documents, on the basis of this document, innovative idea, your startup application will be submitted, and they will, according to reference, they may reject it or may approve it also. But what benefit you will get in this startup registration? Once your innovative startup idea is being approved, you may register for DPIIT, Department of Promotion of International and Internal Trade. Here, the detailed idea of your particular project will be submitted in the central government. And then they may, in particular this registration, this is the process, startup. Here basic details will be filed in startup. Startup will be registered. I will tell you the benefits. Then you may proceed for, in same website, then you may proceed for DPIIT registration, where the detailed innovative idea, where you have started, where is your factory, which place, how many employees, these details will be mentioned in this. And this after rectification and after observation, government may approve your idea or reject it also. And why this application is being filed? This is the benefit. Now what are the benefits? Why you file this? If you have your innovative idea, there is a purpose. Purpose is the funding. Fund. This is the major benefit. Government may fund your idea, give you subsidies, give you different type of loans, give you different type of subsidies, loan at lesser rate, or maybe 70-80% they can absorb the loan, or maybe fully fund it. Maybe once your registration has been filed here, investor may approach you, incubator may approach you for your idea, that we will fund your idea, whatever the fund you are required for that, and you start doing the work. Second benefit will be the tax exemption. Tax exemption is, once your company has been registered, after 1 year, the main compliance will be the income tax compliances. You need to file your balance sheet and P&L to the income tax department. The benefit you will get for tax exemption for 3 years. You have started your business newly, you started earning also, your idea has been approved, and you got the fund from government or maybe investors, and you are profit making startup now. Now you have done the business and you have earned a profit of around 20 lakh exactly. So in normal business, you need to pay the tax on that particular profit to the government in income tax. But here, government give you tax exemption for 3 years. Whatever the profit you have earned, you don't need to give the tax to the government. It's all yours. And this benefit will be given for 3 years. Clear? Startup can be registered until your company is 10 years old. Suppose I have registered a company. I'm still into idea stage, I'm still into innovation. 1 year passed, 2 years passed, something is missing, I have completed my project and idea has been developed after 2 years. Your company is 2 years old, then still you can file for the startup registration. And this you may file until your company is 10 years old. Suppose in 7th year, you got the innovation and it is a profit making business. You may register for the startup, get the benefit and get the 3 years registration benefit also, and then up to 10 years government defined that you can register. Second stage is...
So where to register?
There is a, like in registration of company, it is MCA. Same, government have a startup website, startupindia.gov.in. It is a simple registration for basic details. You can directly, you don't need the professional help also in that. Here in ROC, MCA, income tax, you need a professional help. But in startup registration, entrepreneur can himself file these application normal. Because you will have the basic details after registration. The same basic detail can be filed in startupindia.gov.in. Okay? So if your company is 10 years old, now if your turn, you will register for this startup if your turnover is less than 100 crore. Then only you can register for startup. If it is less than 100 crore. Suppose example, I have an innovative idea, I have started earning also revenue generated, and my turnover is more than 100 crore. So I cannot register in startup. Startup is to boost the new youngster, new business, new venture which does not have any revenue. So if your turnover is more than 100 crore, you cannot register for the startup. Clear? So these are the basic benefit. This benefit is the main benefit, the funding. You will get the central government plus as well as the state government funding in your particular, depending on your idea. Once your idea has been approved, they may call for you for interview. You may give them presentation in particular stage. Like in Manipur, they have different categories of startup. The idea stage, innovative stage, revenue stage. In which category you will apply with them in state level, and once they will call for you to interview, and you will give the presentation what particular project you want to implement, what particular idea or innovative thing. Then according to that, government may fund you. Maybe innovate investors, incubator, they may approach you for their particular project funding. So this is the main benefit. Second benefit is exemption, tax exemption. You started earning from first year, you will get the benefit for 3 years.
So here, if that startup is proprietorship.
Yes.
Proprietorship cannot be registered for.
No. Proprietorship can't be registered.
As a startup.
Yeah. LLP or maybe private limited company can be registered. LLP registration is also under the ROC.
Even partnerships.
LLP is a kind of a partnership now under the ROC, Limited Liability Partnership. Earlier it was a partnership firm where you register under the Partnership Act, but that was kind of informal. Then they have made the formal registration in the part of under the Registrar of Companies. Okay. So these things, once your registration is being approved, these benefits you can get, and you can get the registration of startup. Government may also promote your venture, and you may also promote your venture according to this after startup registration. Now the third stage, we'll discuss, we'll give the summary what we have. So first stage of compliances for registration formation is the registration of formation of a company under the Registrar of Companies. Second stage, if you have innovative idea under your theme, because we are discussing startup registration. Under first stage, there is an optional registration of GST, or if you want voluntary, then third stage of compliances will be the GST. The fourth stage will be the income tax. This is the compliance. Your company is born under this category, Registrar of Companies. You have formed the private limited company or maybe LLP. You have registered your private limited, you got the certificate, documents, everything. Second stage was optional after this. Limit GST registration. Here also you can get the registration if you want after 1 year, then you can get the GST registration. The second or maybe third stage is the startup registration under the government theme. Here, state government or central government both provide these things. You can approach both government also, central government also, and you can get the funding in state government also, both way. Wherever benefit you can register it under the state government also, under the central government also. Third will be the income tax compliances. When the company is born, you have to comply ROC also, annual compliances, that is the basic compliances. I'll move into the compliance part now. You got the registration part. Your company is born, registered, formed, then you got the GST registration. You got in GST also, the basic documents you need to upload is your company's document, director's details and the KYC. Then you got the startup registration under the startup theme. Then third is the income tax. Income tax you can register after 1 year also when your annual compliance is being due. Now annual compliance is ROC. In ROC, your annual compliance will be once your audit is being done. Audit will be done by your CA of the company, you need to appoint a chartered accountant in your company for audit. It is mandatory. And if your company have the paid up capital of more than 10 crore, if your company become more big company and that paid up capital has become more than 10 crore, then you have to appoint a company secretary also, that is CS, in employment to take care of all the legal formality of your company. This is the mandatory requirement. CA will be in practice where you can appoint a statutory auditor for audit purpose, annual audit purpose. But in employment, you need to appoint a company secretary where your company's paid up capital means your capital, contribution capital has become more than 10 lakh. Then you need to appoint a company secretary also. Once your audit has been done, your document is balance sheet P&L is being prepared. Companies, this is annual compliances we are talking about, okay? Minimum requirement of compliances. Other compliances are event-based compliances that I will discuss. This is the mandatory annual compliances. Here, balance sheet and P&L will be filed in ROC. This document, income tax, along with the ITR, will be filed in income tax. These are the mandatory compliances, annual. In ROC compliances, balance sheet P&L need to be filed. Same goes balance sheet P&L along with the income tax return will be filed in income tax for your private limited company.
In case of startup, you don't need to.
You need to file this return, you need to report your income tax, but the exemptions of tax will be given to you.
Only for names.
Reporting you have to do. How you will come to know that you are into profit? While audit only, that this is the profit you got and this is the tax is due. But you are not eligible to pay that tax, but you need to report it in income tax. So compliance need to be filed, but the tax amount you are exempted. In startup scheme, suppose if my company is not startup, I have a normal business, electrical business. I am filing these compliances. I have to pay the tax, or maybe if I am not, I am in loss, I will not pay. But these compliances, I will follow it. These are the basic annual mandatory compliances. ROC compliances related with balance sheet and P&L and ITR. In ROC, there will be like, sir, question was the DIN, Director KYC will be also be. But this is the individual Director KYC will be fine. This is the mandatory for every year, annual compliances. Clear? Income tax return, whenever it is due, it will be filed. Clear? Any doubt related with this annual compliances? This is basic. And other compliances, if you are registered with GST, then there are monthly returns which will be filed or quarterly returns, and then there is annual return. This is for GST. These are the small returns, annual basis, sale or purchase will be mentioned in your GST return if you have a GST registration. If you don't have, then you skip this part. Clear? So these are the two major compliances after 1 year of your formation of a company. Clear? In the first year, you will appoint your CA also. You will report to ROC who is your chartered accountant. In balance sheet P&L, if there are minimum 2 directors will sign balance sheet P&L physically in balance sheet, and that will be uploaded to the ROC while helping with the digital signature. Same goes with the income tax return also.
So this nomination of CA should be done at the time of establishing the company.
Yeah, you have a time for appointment. Once your company is being incorporated, within 30 days, within 50 or maybe within 50 days, you need to appoint. But there are some exemptions also where you can appoint after later on after 30 days also. But this is the minimum requirement. You need to update the ROC. Who is your CA? This application will be filed. Clear? Suppose I am still finding, I haven't found out the CA, good CA, so I will take maybe longer time. Okay, but before completion of 1 year, I need to appoint it, because then the audit will be done. Audit will be done on the basis of your financial year. In this compliances, transaction will be based from 1st April to 31st March. This is the financial year. For this financial year, after 31st March, these compliances will be done. So these are the transactions period. Clear? 1st April to March are the transactions period, called the financial year. Calendar year is January to Feb.
Suppose if I want to change the CA, then what would be the process?
Yeah, you need to report it again. There are applications. That is called event-based compliance. I am coming to that. Event-based compliance. This is the mandatory compliance. Any doubt in this? ROC returns and income tax return. Clear? Now, what are the event-based compliances? Event-based means some event has happened, then only we are doing the compliances. Suppose I want to change my CA. You can change it after 2 years or maybe after 1 year also. Then resignation form will be filed for CA. Then new appointment form will be filed. These are the application. Where it will be filed? It will be filed to ROC only, Registrar of Company. Okay? Appointment of new CA. This is event based, means event is happening, that's why only you are filing. If you don't want to change your CA, then event is not happening. You don't need to file it. Suppose example, the 2 directors are there. You want to add 1 more director in your company, 3rd director, or maybe 2 directors you want to add. Then there are event-based compliances. Then also there are forms application. There are different forms. Forms names are there. I will not go into detail because it is not. I will just explaining in application form. That application will be filed. That is for the professional. The form names are like AOC 4, NGT 7. These are the forms. DIR 12. But these are for the professionals. I am just making you in this prima facie easy form. That resignation of CA, appointment of CA. Then if you want to add director, you can appoint director also. The director can be resigned also. Suppose there are 2 directors. One wants to resign it from the company. Then whether he can resign or not.
Yes, of course.
Until you have a replacement, but minimum requirement of a company is that at minimum 2 directors should be there. If he will resign, then only 1 director will be left. So that cannot be done until first you appoint the director, then it will be resigned, another director. If you are having a 4 director, 1 director can resign, 2 director can resign. But minimum there should be in company, minimum 2 directors should be appointed, should be there.
One scenario. Both the directors are promoters.
Okay.
Then is it possible to resign director as well as the promoter?
Yes. When you will file it, we will file the application for the resignation. We will mention in which category he is resigning. He will resign in whole capacity if he is resigning as a director.
But still he is the promoter of
He can be a promoter if he is holding the equity. If he is not holding the equity, then in what capacity he is a promoter? He can resign as a director. Suppose example, he wants to be a promoter and he is having a equity also. He can resign in the capacity of director. He can remain in the capacity of equity shareholder in the company.
Yes, he can resign from the directorship, but what about the promoter? Can he be still promoter or?
Yeah, suppose example, if he does not want to be a promoter, he can transfer his equity to another person.
This company is a separate legal entity.
Yes.
That is the thing.
See, equity is
If I
your
die,
kind of
suppose
asset.
If the promoter dies, another person or his son or daughter can be the
Become
promoter,
a director.
Yeah.
That is optional. It depends on the
Company
mutual
is-
board of
You
directors.
should put company separately. It doesn't. Mukesh Ambani is running Reliance Industries Limited. It doesn't mean that he wants all the things.
But the question is good that whether he will be continue as in the category of promoter. Promoter are who are holding the equity in the company. Promoter are the owners. Equity is, if I am holding 100% equity in my company, I am the owner. Director are just the functional kind of, if I am in capacity of director shareholder, then I maybe have a full control. Suppose in some companies there are, directors are different, shareholders are different. But company owners are shareholders. They are putting their money capital. So if, and equity can transfer also. Suppose if he does not want to continue in the category of promoter also, he can transfer equity to someone else who wants to take. Equity is his personal asset. I have put money into the company and I got the equity in exchange. Suppose example in market I am going, I have purchased this. I have given price for it and I have taken this. This is my asset. Same goes with the equity also. So equity I can transfer to anyone. If I want to transfer to him, I can transfer it. But the price need to be paid for equity. It's not that if I can transfer as a gift to my relative, but in outside field, I need to transfer against the price of the value of the equity shares. What value is being there. Clear? So these are the event-based compliances. Director can be changed, removed, appoint, resign, can come. Depending on the situation, same goes with the CA, same goes with the, suppose example, company is approaching particular bank loan. So you need to mention to the bank also, bank may approach to ROC also, so there are event-based compliances. Application will be filed to the ROC, that company has taken this as a corporate loan. So you will event-based compliances, that is called.
Sir, one question, sir. The CA, he can be CA for different companies or?
Yes, exactly. CA is in individual capacity. He is a statutory auditor. He is not on your payroll, he is on a professional fees. Clear? So that is, so I'm not going into professional category because they have different. I, as a company secretary, work as an employment also, I can practice also. Same goes with the doctors. Doctors open their own clinic and they start practicing. Or maybe they can employment under the hospital also. So CA here will be, as in practice, he may handle your accounts. He is not on your payroll, he is on your professional fees. So he may have different companies. You may hire a CA who in employment also to take care of your audit, but there will be appointment of particular statutory auditor CA also, who will audit your account. For internal purpose, you may appoint accountant, chartered accountant. It's up to your pocket, company's pocket, how much they can absorb it. Yeah, may appoint company secretary also to take care of the legal compliances. If your company becomes big, you may appoint company secretary, chartered accountant professionals. Clear? So these are the annual compliances and these are the summary based compliances. Event based compliances. Clear? Any doubt? So these are the formation of company and their legal requirements. Any doubt? You may ask any doubt if you have. You got the idea. The main theme is for the startup, how you may approach. Once a company has been born, formation, you may approach for this startup, state government or central government. You may get easily, if your idea is innovative, you can get the funds from the government, or maybe investor can approach. In application, there will be particular blocks. Why you are filing these forms? For investor, for particular funding, you may just need to take, it's a simple form. In that particular form, you don't need to take a professional help also.
Tax slabs of companies, can you tell a bit about that?
Sorry?
Tax. Yeah, tax, for different tax slabs or, for different,
see, for category. See, for individual category, there is a different tax slab rate in income tax. In company, though, tax slab rate won't work. It is flat slab at 30%. But there are different category in income tax. Individual, HUF, partnership, and there is the companies. Government, in income tax, government have defined the different categories. On the basis of this, professional file the particular income tax forms also. And individual, they have different tax slab rate of 10%, 20% and 30%. Up to your income is 5 lakh in individual category. Here to come in companies, that is flat rate. Clear? Main is the individual category. There are different in individual, maybe salary class, maybe business class. So all will be fall into individual category. So there is a 10% slab rate, 20%, 30%. If your income is up to, yeah, please.
Sir, if you want to start small, so considering all these complexities and legal documents and all, which one you will advise, like starting as a proprietor or as a company?
If you have an innovative idea, start with a private limited company. You don't, it's just the registration only part. First, you can take the help of registration, you can take the professional help in registration. And if you have an innovative idea, you can file your startup application form of your idea. That will be helpful for you. Why? Because you will get the funds from it if you don't have funds. If you have funds, you will just need to start a normal business. You can start as a proprietor also. Then these compliances of ROC won't be there. But income tax compliances will be there. Like we are discussing individual business.
Based on experiences and observation, which one you would like?
See, depending on which business. I'll just take 5 minutes and see, depending on your which business you want to start. It depends on that also. Like I was more focusing on the startup. So that's why I was telling this. If you are doing normal business, which is revenue generated business, so under the proprietorship you can start it. You can do that is so less compliances. ROC compliances has been totally cut off. But GST compliances will be there in proprietorship also, and income tax compliances will be there. But if you have some particular innovative idea, you can start your private limited company. You can have these registration, and you can get the funds from the government at the subsidized rate, or maybe you're kind of a funding also. So on their fund, you can start an innovative idea, and you can. These compliances are so see only additional compliances will be ROC in private limited.
Sir, I want to add up here.
Yeah, please.
Okay, my friend, ma'am, I experience the practical to Thomas Tiba. But registration makal ani ni ko. Amon state level registration, amon national level registration, amon state level registration the DIC, Director of Commerce and Industry. DIC nakanda le adu da mana DC office in Far West manung changa dum to yar ba. Isa ka changore ba. Ising amani si loire. Asidi ka changore ka am da na paisa pira aro proprietorship partnership tawmatam da. No one value you. Kaigino jurisdiction ji Imphal khadin Manipur khadin se loire. Okay, aduga sir na hai siniko. Asi Minister of Corporate Affairs, Central Government registration ba. Central Government registration kai ho gaya jari private limited ho ko. Private limited se lising kun manga kun nipan khak change ba. CMC samda paisa pi thokre aduga nangi masai document am loi pisal ni ko. Asi compliance ho ro gadi any mean no investor ko yani thazarani aduga sanction nasai high ba startup ki funding net fee funding NABARD funding ado. Si private limited masai sir nang ni ba si to ro gadi famni ba. State level registration do adu di value less ne. Mata manga biru na sai ani ohum mari manga ina kun manga da malasi ni ai ta. Adum kauthok piro private limited fee gra pithok asi dum horo aduna makok to ki horak ma make sing adum sei ani sur ko ahum sur ko mari sur ko paisa hena lok thoba yani ai ta. Startup zu machine thib de yawngi. Proprietorship machine thib sung yaw. CD machine thib de yawngi. So it's more best private limited registration.
See, for NABARD funding, if your company is, I have starting with the types of company. So if your company is related with the agriculture product, then you can get the funding from NABARD. Registration will be different little bit. Registration certificate documents will be same. So this is my mobile number. If you still have any particular doubt, you can note down 9891460159. You can call me, you can just give the reference of this particular interaction session. I will help. If you still have a doubt, you can just call me. I'll clear your doubt. 9891460159. Aditya Diwedi. Yeah, 9891460159. My office is at Airport Road, so if you want to personally meet also, we can discuss, we can clear your doubts. Clear? I hope this session was helpful.
Very helpful, very helpful.
Yeah, email ID. ACS Aditya Diwedi @gmail. ACSADITYDWIVEDI@gmail.com. See, we were having this short time, otherwise if we have a good time, we will have good session, but still, you can contact me for, if you have still any doubt, we can clear it, okay? So I thank all of you for this good session. It was very interactive and good, questions were also very good, genuine. Still in detail, if you want to discuss, we can still continue. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.